In recent years, conversations about controversial films, exposés, and investigative documentaries have taken on a new intensity. Many creators hesitate to tackle such topics, wondering where these projects could even be distributed and whether any major platform would risk hosting them. Yet among fans of bold storytelling, one name keeps coming up: Mel Gibson, often framed as someone who could navigate that minefield and actually pull it off. Online commentators claim that Gibson once suggested that staying in Hollywood long enough forces you to swim with the current, even if you try to avoid it. That idea resurfaced amid a wave of viral posts, suggesting he had privately circulated a list naming entertainment figures allegedly connected to Jeffrey Epstein's disturbing network. Social media treated the rumors like a breaking scandal. Whispers of actors, directors, and musicians said to have engaged in secretive rituals or made compromising alliances in exchange for status and career opportunities. The surge in attention coincided with new congressional document releases containing emails linked to Epstein and several well-known personalities, sparking renewed debate about who might have been involved and to what extent. Commentators seized on the appearance of certain names, one belonging to a modeling agent compared by some to Jean-Luc Brunel, with claims he had connections both to Epstein and, allegedly, to a former modeling agency associated with Donald Trump. Analysts argued these leads should be scrutinized, though nothing has been formally verified. Adding fuel to this online firestorm was a resurfaced 1998 clip of Gibson speaking about unsettling feelings he'd had in the industry, hints of paranoia he later felt had been justified. Viewers now interpret that brief interview as an early warning, a moment in which he sensed that the entertainment world was shaped by forces darker than most imagine. The footage has been reshared millions of times by podcasts and influencers who tie it to the release of new Epstein-related material. All of this gained additional momentum after Gibson publicly supported Sound of Freedom, a film about global trafficking networks. To many, his appearance in a promotional spot urging people to educate themselves about exploitation came across as more than a simple endorsement. Some audiences believed he was subtly signaling deeper knowledge he couldn't directly express. Actor Jim Caviezel, who starred in the film and previously worked with Gibson, amplified conspiratorial claims about elite abuse, adding another layer to the growing mythology. Meanwhile, Gibson's representatives have stated clearly that he has not published any kind of exposé or list. Still, a handful of self-described insiders insist that some private dossier is quietly circulating among reporters and independent investigators, purportedly a compilation of names seen in Epstein's emails, schedules, or travel logs, paired with speculative accounts of so-called initiation events. These theories even reference a cryptic 2011 message from Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell mentioning rituals and the dog that hasn't barked, which online communities have stretched into speculation about high-profile individuals, including Donald Trump. At this stage, the claims remain a mixture of rumor, interpretation, and online myth-building. But the fascination persists, fueled by decades of unanswered questions and the public's growing suspicion that the entertainment industry hides far more than it reveals. Weeks after Epstein's name resurfaced in media speculation, he reportedly corresponded with journalist Michael Wolff regarding a dinner involving former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak and philosopher Noam Chomsky. Each of these exchanges, real or rumored, seemed to feed the growing theory that Epstein's network was a strange blend of political influence, intellectual prestige, and celebrity allure, a veneer that obscured something far darker beneath. Research into Epstein's methods suggests he saw himself as intellectually superior to everyone around him, collecting people and information over decades. Sources indicate that much of this network was cultivated through his trafficking operations, gathering secrets about individuals that could later be leveraged or traded within his sphere of influence. Mel Gibson's recent resurgence, from Hollywood pariah to a figure some see as a truth-teller, has sparked debate. Critics argue he is capitalizing on the attention generated by Sound of Freedom, while supporters contend he may finally be voicing suspicions insiders have long whispered, that fame and success for certain stars came with unspoken, unholy obligations. Clips of Gibson on social media now circulate alongside leaked Epstein-related files detailing meetings with figures like Woody Allen, Deepak Chopra, Peter Thiel and Elon Musk. One calendar entry even records a film screening with Woody Allen and Son Si, followed by dinner with a billionaire investor. To some, these snippets seem to retroactively justify Gibson's decades-old paranoia. But the attention has brought scrutiny. Major studios have distanced themselves, accusations of anti-Semitic undertones have surfaced, and false reports claimed he was producing a documentary on global trafficking networks. Despite the controversy, patterns persist. Every time Epstein reemerges in public discussion, Gibson's old warnings resurface with him. Observers note the irony. An actor once infamous for inflammatory remarks is now perceived by some as a reluctant prophet of Hollywood's shadowy side. Friends recall him saying years ago that fear drives the industry, and now that fear seems to have a face, the release of the House oversight files has only widened the lens. Thousands of pages reveal correspondence linking Epstein to Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, and Peter Thiel, with references to dinners including Woody Allen and magician David Blaine, just days before Epstein's 2019 arrest. These documents paint a portrait of a network of staggering breadth: celebrities, foreign leaders, and business magnates interwoven in ways that blur lines between socializing, influence, and alleged exploitation. Even in these files, mundane interactions, like discussions of longevity research and meditation lessons with Chopra, sit beside whispers of darkness, suggesting a strange coexistence of philanthropy and sinister behavior. As scrutiny intensifies, Gibson's motives remain open to interpretation. Is he seeking personal redemption through revelation, or has he positioned himself as a mouthpiece in a broader campaign to expose these networks? Analysts note that after years of exile from major studios, his engagement with anti-trafficking efforts has restored his relevance, though the full story behind his involvement remains uncertain. Gibson's recent interviews carry a grim intensity, his voice low, his eyes clouded, as though he's grappling with something far more personal than he's willing to say aloud. In one clip that spread across social media, he describes an unsettling moment with a fellow actor whose presence, he said, felt cold. The name he mentioned, Christopher Walken, has now been swept into a sea of fan theories, with online communities trying to weave the interaction into a broader tapestry of Hollywood symbolism. For conspiracy-focused audiences, the parallels between Gibson's old stories and the growing list of Epstein-associated figures seem too precise to ignore. Across Hollywood, the atmosphere feels charged. Behind the polished red carpet smiles, insiders sense unease. Publicists work overtime to scrub even the faintest associations to Epstein's world, while internet detectives pore through flight logs, comparing them to the dates of film festivals and premieres. Some argue that the so-called Gibson list, if it even exists, simply organizes information that investigators have quietly collected for years, a reminder that the currency of fame has often required silence in exchange for opportunity. Others whisper that the list goes beyond mere connections. They claim it outlines initiation rituals supposedly meant to secure loyalty within elite circles, sworn oaths, and recorded ceremonies that no one speaks of openly. The phrase "ritual for the role" has gone viral, echoing old industry jokes about paying hidden dues to climb the ladder. Commentators point out that many celebrities had dinner at Epstein's home, including names like Chelsea Handler, not as evidence of wrongdoing, but as a reminder that social interaction with a controversial figure does not automatically imply criminal involvement. There's a difference, one observer said, between having a photo with someone and appearing in hundreds of photos with them. Meanwhile, every hour seems to bring another leak: emails, voice memos, scattered digital breadcrumbs, suggesting that Epstein's influence stretched far beyond a single financier. Behind closed doors, producers quietly wonder whether more names will surface before the next award season. Lawyers prepare statements preemptively, anticipating headlines. And although the Justice Department maintains that there is no definitive client list, the contradictions in public narratives keep fueling speculation. This uncertainty has led some to wonder what exactly Gibson witnessed, or believed he witnessed, that pushed him to risk his already fragile reputation. His recent silence feels less like retreat and more like calculation, as though he's waiting for a particular moment. If the rumored list is merely the beginning, critics ask, What else might Hollywood's elite be hiding, and how deep does the iceberg go? Within hours of the alleged leak, online investigators began stitching Gibson's past warnings to fringe theories once dismissed as pure internet lore. They resurfaced long-circulated claims about powerful circles rumored to be entangled with youth-obsessed longevity fantasies and secretive gatherings meant to forge unbreakable bonds. During the Sound of Freedom controversy, similar rumors about dark rituals and extreme substances had already caught fire. Now they were being revived with new intensity. Even as major news outlets work to debunk these ideas, the coincidences keep the public hooked, especially when Epstein's own emails, now available through official releases, show him casually referencing presidents, world leaders, and media powerhouses as if they were simply pieces on a board he was confident he could move. The narrative continues to tighten. Whether these theories hold any truth or are merely the latest wave of digital myth-making, one thing is certain. The intersection of celebrity, secrecy, and power has never been more scrutinized or more fiercely debated. The story unfolds like a set of Russian nesting, each layer revealing another, and another, and another. Every time someone insists there's nothing left to uncover, a new piece drops. At first, commentators claimed there were no Epstein files at all, that the whole thing was exaggerated. Then suddenly, reports buzzed that an investigation was coming, and that files would be released after all. The whiplash became part of the myth. One resurfaced exchange. Epstein himself spoke with a kind of smug confidence, calling Trump borderline insane, boasting about powerful friends, and hinting that he knew just how compromised some of them truly were. If that was his tone in private messages that leaked, people wonder what was said in conversations that never reached public ears. The contradictions are endless. Fact-checkers routinely point out that Mel Gibson never had any direct connection to Epstein. Still, many notice how the timing of his warnings aligns uncomfortably well with early rumors about Epstein's circle. His short promotional appearance for Sound of Freedom arrived just as Congress began unsealing documents containing names like Woody Allen and Elon Musk, individuals who largely insist their interactions with Epstein were limited to dinners, meetings, or business discussions. Yet investigators close to the case have whispered a different interpretation, that some of these encounters were less about socializing and more about vetting, introductory checkpoints for those seeking access to certain elite social tiers. Former staff described Epstein's mansion events as half academic gathering, half initiation ritual, which eerily mirrors the cold, detached encounters Gibson once mentioned, moments when he claimed people felt hollow, their smiles mechanical, their eyes empty. Critics argue he was speaking metaphorically. True believers insist he was describing the same hidden circles now being dissected in congressional documents. Commentators who study these cases say operations like Epstein's have existed in other forms for years, a promise of escape, indulgence, or exclusivity offered to the ultra-rich who are difficult to impress. The pitch, they say, was simple. Come to the island. Everything is arranged. Nothing leaves this place. A pattern emerges across accounts. Nearly everyone who circled Epstein, whether knowingly or by coincidence, shared one trait, an almost desperate ambition. Former assistants claimed guests fell into two groups, those hungry for wealth and those terrified of losing it. One pilot even recalled Epstein joking that he could make or break anyone's career with a single introduction. That same confidence mirrors the stories about Hollywood's clandestine pledge-taking and whispered oaths, rumors Gibson referenced years ago when he warned that betrayal was a constant in the industry. The parallels feel almost staged, as if he recognized the architecture of the system long before the public did. As outrage intensifies, new rumors suggest Gibson's alleged list might connect to an even deeper tier, what insiders call the protectors. These individuals rarely show up in Epstein's emails but appear scattered across phone logs and travel records, financiers, spiritual advisors, longevity researchers. Epstein's fascination with anti-aging science, once framed as philanthropy, now strikes many as camouflage for something less benign, and through it all, one unanswered question keeps resurfacing. How did Epstein actually accumulate the wealth and influence that made all of this possible? Epstein's world revolved around influence, secrecy, and ambition, leaving major questions about his finances and connections unanswered. While Maxwell insists he acted alone, overlapping circles tell a different story, ranging from wellness figures to Hollywood names and powerful strategists. Lawsuits, redacted records, and unexplained meetings fueled a sense of a carefully managed hierarchy of silence. Some insiders claim Epstein shaped not just victims but loyal protectors, using psychology more than coercion. In this environment, fame's pressures blur ethics, and ambition becomes a trap. The result is a legacy of unanswered questions, frayed reputations, and a web far larger than anyone expected. In the circles that once orbited Epstein, ambition wasn't just a motivator. It was the air people breathed. Once someone tasted that level of access, stepping back felt like suffocation. Those familiar with the old network describe a culture where approval from the influential mattered more than personal ethics. And in that warped environment, even Gibson's long-discussed paranoia finds a strange mirror. The line between fearing betrayal and craving validation blurs until every gesture seems to carry an unspoken obligation. To insiders, that was the heart of the rumored rituals, not ceremonies in a literal sense, but psychological choreography designed to turn insecurity into compliance. The same public figures famous for charm and vulnerability on screen reportedly understood how to redirect those tools behind closed doors. As one critic put it, the problem isn't simply Hollywood scandals. It's the persistent belief that the public won't notice the difference between someone casually connected to a scandal and someone deeply involved. Some sources describe a kind of controlled surrender masquerading as opportunity, favors framed as mentorship, protection disguised as collaboration, financial gestures interpreted as gifts rather than leverage. Seen through that lens, Epstein's world resembles less a blackmail scheme and more a long-running behavioral experiment, probing just how far raw ambition can bend human. Will Gibson's old warnings about cold rooms and colder people suddenly feel less like mysticism and more like psychological diagnosis, reflections on the emptiness that grows when moral boundaries corrode. Rumors linger about money quietly moving through obscure foundations, small enough to be ignored but meaningful enough to ensure loyalty. Whether true or exaggerated, the idea fascinates because it fits a pattern. In industries built on secrecy, silence is often more lucrative than truth. That's where the psychology turns darker. Fame promises significance, but in these accounts, it becomes a vacuum that deepens with each success. Those drawn into Epstein's orbit weren't merely chasing influence. Many were trying to fill hollowness created by that very desire. If any symbolic pacts existed, their purpose may have been to maintain the illusion of being chosen, indispensable. Beyond accountability, beneath Hollywood's glitter lies a tension between glamour and secrecy, where whispers of lists fuel endless speculation. Admitting the cost of chasing immortality would mean confronting the void many sought to escape. Maxwell might recall connections, even without a formal catalog, while fact-checkers expose distorted clips yet admit gaps, missing footage, redacted names, broken timelines. The industry trembles quietly. Audits, scrapped projects, carefully worded statements all signal unease. Fame seems tethered to compliance, silence exchanged for opportunity. Fragmented emails and odd coincidences hint at deeper truths. In Hollywood, the brightest lights illuminate the longest shadows, and much remains hidden.